Hi everyone. We are here again. It's another episode of Purposeful Professional with Oluwaseun. This is where we build careers, where we enhance professionalism and executive presence. I'm glad to be here with you on another episode once again. Oh wow, it's been a while. Yes. Hmm. I actually something made me to uh, something pushed me to come up with a topic for today, which is so I've been having some experiences lately, and um, and I think it's good we talk about it. I would have actually loved to bring in someone where we can share ideas, where we can share practical tips where people can learn from, and that can also help them to build or be better at what they do. Now, so today we'll be talking about how you can become indispensable. You know, um, so my question is, do you think you are easily replaceable at your place of work? Or do you think if they want to disengage you, they are going to think twice? You know, there are some employees, I think I've once mentioned that there are some employees that if, once they resign, in fact, the organization will gladly accept it. That, oh, thank God, good riddance to bad rubbish. However, there are some that when they resign, the organization is looking forward to having conversation with them, renegotiating, asking them what they want, what can they do, what can they offer for them to stay. Then there's something that these employees, this set of employees, are doing differently that other people are not doing. Do you think um, you are essential to the point that, uh, or let me use the word indispensable? I think that is more common in the workplace, where we say employees are indispensable or yeah, they are irreplaceable. So, do you think you are irreplaceable at your place of work? How essential are you to your place of work? Or are you just working hard? Are you just working to your job description? Or there's something else that you are doing differently from what you've been assigned to do? So that's what I would really want us to look at. Now, what does being indispensable means? It means you are um, relevant. You are difficult to replace. It means you are essential. It means there's something that you're giving that other people are not giving. It means when there are problems regarding that thing that you're giving, you come to mind first for a solution. So you are a problem solver. And how many employees today are solving problems at their place of work? If you look at the workforce, you will see that most people they just work based on the instruction, go and do this, go and do this, go and do this. How many people are thinking outside of the box? How many people have something else that they can offer? How many people are saving the organization some cost? You know, what are you doing differently? What are you offering that would make the organization to say, okay, if this person leaves, okay, even if you get a replacement, can this replacement do as much as the person that is leaving the system? It's, I think it's a food for thought. So while I was thinking about it, what actually informed that this topic was, so I had an experience in the recent time where I've had people resigned, and sincerely we didn't move an inch, we didn't flinch for whatsoever, because we were not feeling you. We were not feeling such person. We just felt okay. Yeah, he's just doing just as much as what is required. We nothing, no improvements. So at that point, it's like, okay, we accept your resignation and would be giving you all the benefits attached. But then someone else now resigned. In fact, it triggered a lot. It triggered a lot of restructuring, a lot of there were some impulse decisions that were made on the spot. because we couldn't afford to lose such a person. Yes, I don't advise organizations to wait till when their employee leaves before they do the right thing. It's not a good culture. It's not a good workplace culture. So you must excuse me, prior to their leaving, you must have felt their pain points, you must have felt their pulse, you know, and not just feeling it, you are providing initiatives that are addressing this pain point, you know. So now that takes me back to, so I had to write a few things down that I could talk on. When you are talking about being essential, right? So let me give some example. So for instance, the funniest thing is being essential does not actually mean you're doing a lot. That's another thing. It does not necessarily mean you're doing a lot. It just means that you are doing something that has an impact, like a high impact on the organization. Okay, so let me give you for instance. So you understand the business goals, right? You okay, let me take my current place of work for example. There's somebody that came up with an idea recently, and sincerely, he he moved the management to make a decision. He came up with a platform, he designed it from scratch, is outside his job scope entirely. You just understand that there's a problem in the production unit, and there's a need for all the production units to communicate seamlessly without barriers so that there can be prompt decision making, so that there can be effectiveness and efficiency. Of course, what does the organization want? And he came up with something, with an initiative, and he built it and he rolled it out. And trust me, this has saved us a lot in terms of cost, a lot in terms of loss of production hours, a lot in terms of loss of manpower hours. Like, and when we looked at it, what did we give? What are we getting back? So he gave us value. And the truth is, each time we have a problem around that, we would always run back to him. That, okay, what do you think we should do? What do you think? Like, he gave a solution to a problem that nobody saw as a problem, and it was all in line with achieving the organization goal. Trust me, he doesn't need to blow his own for him to become visible, because whatever we want to talk about it, whenever we are reporting, we are going to put it as part of the report that, okay, so person built this, he came up with this, he offered this solution. You know, as minute as it seems, to him is nothing, but to the organization is a big deal. And he wouldn't have been able to do that if he had not been able to identify the gap. He was able to identify a gap, and he was able to say, okay, let me give this. And also, he wouldn't have been able to do that if he doesn't have the skill. I'm going somewhere. I've talked about two things: having a skill, identifying a gap. Now, thirdly, he offered, he volunteered, selflessness. Now, let's assume uh, I'm trying to look for something that everyone can relate to, where an example that is very, very easy for you to relate to. Okay, so let's take finance for instance. Everybody uses ELP, and ELP, they do their financial whatever reporting, and then there's somebody there that can do modeling, that can interpret analyze the data they have and interpret it. Trust me, won't the head of that unit be running to that person every time and say, okay, do this for me, do this for me, do this for me? Even if they need to train other people, say, go to this person to train others. You know, that person has directly or indirectly helped the head of the unit to achieve his goal, to make the head of the unit to look successful at his job. So, what if he has the skills and he did not offer it? Or what if he doesn't even have the skill? They will still be at the same point. And that would have, having the skill, solving that problem, has saved that department a lot. has even added more value to the company. So you cannot become irreplaceable overnight. You cannot become indispensable overnight. As trivial as your skill may look, or as trivial as they may, or if your skill is similarly trivial, um, try to make sure that you are using it to solve a problem. Ensure that you're using that skill to solve a problem. Identify what problem can I solve? What's the problem that they have at my workplace that I can solve? How do I make things better? How do I make it? How do I improve on the current process or procedure or whatever it is? You know, in fact, it could be something as simple as writing job description. We all see job descriptions on LinkedIn. We see how they are put together. And there could be one person that maybe by the time you develop a JD, is attracting the right talent, the right mind, because it's passing the right message. It's talking about the details of the job, talking about the workplace culture, like giving, and it's not much, but it's straight and concise. What do you think? Anytime the HR manager wants to write JD, will say, okay, so person, Oluwaseun, please develop the JD for this so role. We would like to post it out for, and they are so sure that by the time you do that, they are attracting the right talent. It could even be something as simple as SOP. Okay, you just notice that, okay, they're always complaining in this department that somebody did not do this, and say he was supposed to do this, he was supposed to do that, and you thought of it and said, okay, let me put together an SOP that is not ambiguous, that is straightforward, with visuals that people can understand, and you were able to come up with it. Let's say, for instance, between transport and warehouse, and you were able to develop that SOP. It has solved a lot, because the truth is, even if, okay, let me tell you what that will do to the business. Developing such documents means you are going to put a blueprint on the ground. Now, people there would have to follow, and because they follow, even if they leave, new intakes will still follow. That's, so nobody will forget it. If any other units need such service, I can tell you that they will come to you. Just think of something that you can do differently and you can offer, without holding back. I think it's important that you look at it. Now, what would I say? Being essential is is a mindset shift. Is a mindset shift. You are the one that will decide that, do I really want to do this? How do I want to become somebody that is important? How do I want to become somebody of high value to my workplace, to my organization? What contribution do I want to bring on board that will make me of high importance to my workplace? You know, it's not something that you will be talked into it. It's something that you just say, okay. So, in fact, so many things inform it. Before you could get to that mindset shift, you must first of all have a sense of ownership. You are owning the business like it's yours. So you are not just doing coming to work say. You are like, you are more solution driven. You want to see things get done. You are not holding back anything. You are giving your 101%. And because you want to give your 101%, you are like thinking, you're always thinking ahead. What do we need to do to make it better? What do we need to do to make it better? In fact, you can decide to go and acquire a skill because you really want to like achieve a particular purpose. You can decide to go and acquire a skill, something as little as you want to go and learn data analysis because you want to be a solution to a problem that has been long standing for a while, and you want to make sure that this problem is out of the way. I don't know, maybe you understand. So I think we should start looking in that direction. Be that person that can connect the dots. Be that person that can understand the pain point. Be that person that can identify the bottlenecks and think of, how do you want to resolve this? How do you want to help the organization to solve this problem? Don't just do things like it's none of my business. You should become that real person that can translate problems into solution and into achieving the business goals. The truth is, companies are desperately looking for such people. Okay, I think I read something posted some time ago on LinkedIn where they talked about hiring and they talked about interview. And you see that you interview a lot of people, and while interviewing, so many people are not speaking to the company's needs. They are just talking in generic form. By the time you start speaking to the company's needs, the company don't want to lose you. They're like, this is who we want. This is the kind of person we want in our team that will help us to solve this problem. So the second thing I would like to say is you have to own a process. Own a process nobody wants to own. What everybody is neglecting. How are you owning it? How are you um taking care of it? Are you one of those that just want to push whatever problem aside, or you are one of those that want to volunteer to solve it? You could research on it. You could research and say, I just want to solve this problem. This problem is giving us a lot of headache, and is really not making us to meet up with our deliverables in our team. How do I solve this? And you decide to go and research and have the answer to that problem. Anytime such project comes up, people will always come to you for solution because they know you would always give a solution. Such a person cannot be done, like cannot be pushed aside. Such a person cannot be pushed aside. The person who owns a critical process, however unglamorous, however unattractive, is never the first name on a layoff list. Quote me anywhere. By the time it's time for them to lay anybody off. In fact, something as little as, I think I will get there. Just make sure that you volunteer, you own, I first talked about sense of ownership. Own a process, a critical process. By the time they want to lay off, or by the time they say people are not performing, you won't be mentioned. Your name can never be mentioned. It's not possible. It's not possible. Then thirdly, I would also say that it's important that we develop a second skill that would complement your current job role. Just like I mentioned, you can decide to go and learn a skill to solve a problem in your unit. You can just to enhance your performance, or yeah, both individual and as a group or as a team. Excuse me. A financial analyst who can design a clean, not now in the age of AI where we don't even use PowerPoint. I can't remember when last I used PowerPoint. Who can design a clean PowerPoint? Hmm. It's not just going to be working for that department. In fact, it's worth more than two people, because when it's time for them to present their report, that's their go-to person. Be a go-to person for your team. Be a go-to person for your. If I have anybody in my team today that understands the labor law in and out, in fact, I will always call you. What does the law says? What does the law says? Each time I'm confused or I'm at the crossroads, what does the law says? Even though I can quickly get my information from online, but I know that by the time I talk to you, you are going to break it down for me in a way that I would understand. I will always run to you each time I need information on the labor law. And it's really important. Just get a second skill that will complement your job role, your current job role. And this second skill, in fact, it does not have to be deep. It doesn't have to be, you don't need the depth. You just need knowledge that is good enough that will make your primary role to be significantly more powerful. A skill that will make your primary role, your current role, to look like you're doing more than what you're doing. It's going to amplify it. It's going to amplify it. Then always solve problem even before they are assigned to you. Even the ones that are not assigned to you, learn to always solve problems. Solve problems. There's nothing like solving problems. Oh, solve as many as possible. Solve problems. Come up with solutions. And before you know it, you are known to be somebody that stands out. You are not just waiting um, for problem to keep brewing before you fix them. You have seen it and immediately you are addressing it. Trust me, that kind of employees cannot be easily laid off. That kind of employee cannot be easily laid off. Another tip is try to always make your manager look good consistently. How do you want to achieve that? It's just by your input. I cited an example earlier where um, an HR officer that can develop a JD that attracts the right mindset, that attracts the right applicant. The glory will not be to that HR officer. It's going to be HR posted and hard, and it's attracting. You know, you are. The truth is, your success, your manager's success, is dependent on your success. It's what you give. Your input or your output is your manager's input. So it's what you give to your manager that is also going to use to be better at his job or her job. So you have to give what will make them look successful. And when you give what will make them look successful, they will also speak for you in the room that matters. When it matters, they will definitely put in one or two words for you. It's really important. And that's how you become essential. That's how you become indispensable. That's how you become difficult to replace. Another tip is in all of this, make sure you document and share your knowledge generously. Don't be the type that I know this, I'm holding it, I'm not giving it out. Don't be the type that if I leave, everything I know lives with me. That kind of mindset is not what we need. It's not what you need. It's not what will make you. For people will not even know what you know. You know, people will not know what you know. Now, I just don't want to talk about what you need to do to be indispensable. How does this affect you personally? How does this affect your growth or your career? How does this add value to you as a person? Most of the times we talk about what we give back to the organization, what we give back to the organization. But what we fail to realize is when we give to the organization, when we are contributing our quota to the organization, we are actually building ourselves indirectly. Okay, I'll give you an example. Somebody that was given a task to always, um, I'm trying to look for, to always, let's say, do some documentation when it starts to do with operations or, okay, let me be more specific. You are given a task to always do some documentation each time your organization wants to carry out an export transaction. Do you know that unknown to you, you are gradually becoming an export officer? Before you know it, if you leave that organization, you can actually apply elsewhere as an export officer because you have gathered experience over time without you knowing. You thought they were just giving you tasks to do this, to do this, to do that. You are just solving problems on, but you are also gathering experience as an individual. You are learning on the job. You are learning. Even though the company does not value you at that time, you are no longer the same person that joined the company in terms of value, in terms of experience. So, what this does to you is by the time you've been able to solve problems, you've been able to acquire skill just that additional skill that would amplify your performance on your job role. You've been able to help your manager succeed on his job. It's going to increase your visibility as a person. When it times for promotion, you won't be pushed aside. They won't say, what is he giving? What is he offering us? No, it won't be difficult for them to make decision because the truth is the evidence is there. What you do differently is there. And also it's also going to build your reputation over time. I wanted to talk about something the other time. So now let's look at someone that I know that if I give you, even that, okay, you are not a store officer, you are an admin officer. However, I need you to work on issuing out items from the store, receiving items, and you were able to do it diligently. Not just diligently, okay, you now said, okay, this task that I'm assigned to, there's a problem that I've identified in the store. Maybe there's no proper reporting, there's no proper record, there's no accurate documentation. And decide to go and do little, little, even if it's an online course on Coursera or LinkedIn Learning, learn one or two, and you're able to apply it to your job, to that task, and you made it more efficient. What do you think would happen when it's time for decision making? Excuse me, maybe on promotion or salary review. Who would say you are not doing well? It's not possible. It's not possible. It would also compound your earning power. Your salary will definitely have an it's just normal. It gives you this power to negotiate. You have that bargaining power to renegotiate your salary because you cannot, and you have it all documented. You've been able to do this and do this and do this, and you can humbly request that your salary should be looked into. They will consider it because they don't want to lose you. At that point in time, You are solving a problem that no one else can solve. And that has made you an essential employee. That has made you an irreplaceable person for the organization. It's really important that we all look into it. It also gives you the opportunity to think like a leader. You're not thinking like every other person. You're thinking ahead. You're thinking like a leader is always looking for ways to solve problem. A leader is always looking for how do I work, put all the functions together? How do I put all my teams together to achieve a common goal? And that is what you're doing because you are also thinking like that. And that's an added value to your career because any organization you join, even if you leave the organization and you join the next one, there's something in you that makes you different from every other person. I think I've once said it that um, your CV would give you access to the room, but there are some skills that you should have that will make you. It's not. It's going to make you valuable in that room. It will stand you out in that room. You'll be part of those that can make decisions, that can have a say in that room. And this was not acquired in that place. It was acquired in your previous job just by exposing yourself to additional tasks, by volunteering yourself, by taking initiatives, by being proactive, by acquiring skill to be better at what you're doing. And trust me, it's also like a way of protecting yourself during hard times. Let me be specific. A way of protecting yourself because you are like building an hedge around you that even when there's chaos, when everything goes down, you will not be part of those that they would say, we don't need anymore. Because you've been able to carve a niche for yourself, you know. Now, what's I would say, let me just take this like the way I pen it down so that professionals who struggle with growth are almost always doing their job well with nothing more. The professionals who struggle with growth are always doing their job well with nothing more. So now it's not just about doing your job well, it's that extra. Like they used to say, what else are you doing? That's you see that little thing that you would do is what will now make you extraordinary. Doing your job well is just what is obtainable anyway, is what any other person can offer me. So yeah, you are doing your job well, you're doing your job well. And every other person can also do their job well. Is what I can get anyway. But what's that thing that is extra that you're doing that will stand you out? You know, the ones who accelerate are doing their job well and quietly making the organization around them better. The ones who accelerate are doing their job well, and in addition, they are as well quietly making the organization around them better. That gap is smaller than it looks. However, the return on it is very wide. As small as it is, as small as you may think that's what am I doing? What's the big deal? It doesn't look like a big deal, but the results, the impact, what is going to come back to you is bigger than what you think. Thank you very much. I think here I will be stopping here. I want to come back to you again on our next episode. Thank you for staying with me. Once again, it's Purposeful Professional with Oluwashi.